video is about. I made a shirt to match my shoes, and it was only $5. Shirt was $2.50. I'm gonna say $3 at Hobby Lobby, and I bought the SVG file to make the shoe off Etsy. So if you want to know how to make a shirt to match your Jordans or your Nikes, you in the right place. Let's get into it. If you have not already, download the app Etsy on your phone, and once it's downloaded, you're going to want to type in Jordan SVG up into the search engine. And I'm just showing y'all how I did it from my phone. So type in Jordan SVG. Once you click search, a bunch of files will pop up, Jordan files and Nike files. But we're looking for one particular file from one particular seller, and they're selling the SVG file Retro 4. And what we're going to do is change the color of the shoe once we download it into our Cricut design space. So here is the file that you need to click on, and I'm going to circle the seller. Make sure that it's this seller. So once you click on it, you want to go ahead and add it to your cart so that you can purchase it. Once you've purchased it, they will send the downloaded file to your email, and once it's downloaded to your email, you can download it into your Cricut design space. And once you have it in your Cricut design space, all you have to do is click on it after you upload it and add it to your canvas. So once it's added to your canvas, we're going to zoom out, because some of the pieces, some of the layers, we're going to have to duplicate to actually change the color. So once you zoom out, click on the actual shoe and ungroup it. Once you ungroup it, pull each layer to the side. This particular layer, you're going to delete. And then this particular layer, once you pull this to the side, we're going to slice the bottom of it. So what we're going to do is go get a square, the shape square. Make sure this piece here, which is the toe of the shoe, is covered. And then we're going to click slice. Once you slice it, it's going to separate this toe piece from this particular layer so that we can change the color of it. So right now it's red, and we're just going to change the color of it to black. Because on the actual shoe that we're making, it's black. And we want the shoe on our shirt to mimic the shoe, the actual Jordan shoe, as close as possible. So once that's turned black, group it and move that to the side. Your next layer, which is the main color of the shoe here, is black. So we're going to have to change the color to black because right now it's dark gray. And then we're going to duplicate it. So once you duplicate it, we're going to change some colors of this main part red. That's why we're going to duplicate it, because we're going to create an extra layer, if that makes sense. You'll see what I mean here in a few. Once you duplicate it, we're going to click on contour. Down here on the right at the bottom, click on contour. And what you're going to want to do is, once you click on pieces of this shoe, it's going to take it away. So you want to contour everything except for the third square. And this, don't click on that one. Skip that one and contour the rest of them. Just click them all. Click all the squares. And it's just going to take away, it's going to take away everything from the shoe. So once you exit out of the contour, you will see that only what was not clicked, or whichever one that you did not click on, will be left. So we're just scrolling back up. You see how it left everything except for these two pieces? And we're going to change the color to red. And then we're going to move that out of the way. And we're done with this also, so we're going to move that out of the way. So we're working in pieces here. But if you do this the exact same way that I'm doing it, it will come out perfect. So here, we're going to go ahead and change the color of this red also. And then we're going to move that out of the way. And then this piece here, we're also going to change the color to red. And then we're going to move that out of the way. So everything that's moved out of the way is done and it's the appropriate color. Here, this last layer, we're going to duplicate that because we're going to go back down to contour and get rid of some of the pieces. So once we're on contour, now this one, it was a little complicated. So the third and the fourth square, you need to leave a blank. Don't click on it because then it was shaded. But what you want to do is, once you see how it has the little the little rectangle pieces and then the little square-like pieces, you want to click on all the rectangular pieces. And I think that I was clicking too fast, so it was clicking some of the squares and the computer was lagging, so I just had to slow down and make sure that I didn't have any of the square pieces shaded, but somehow it did shade some of the square pieces instead of the rectangular pieces. So I'm just scrolling back up trying to make sure that I clicked on the right pieces. So here I'm clicking on a rectangular piece. That's what I mean by rectangular piece. And then as I'm scrolling up, I can see that actually some of the square pieces are shaded and contoured that does not need to be. So yeah, this was a challenge, but it's not as hard as it's looking right now. It's just that my computer, I don't know what my computer was doing, but I'm going to get it together here in a few. So click all the rectangular pieces and leave the square pieces unshaded. So all the rectangular pieces should be that dark shaded gray once you click on it, and all the square pieces should be left open, should not be shaded. If that makes sense. I think I got it together right here. I thought so. But you can see what I mean. So like that. The square pieces should not be shaded. Only the rectangular pieces should be shaded, and then the other squares. So this is what it looks like once it's done with the contour. And we're going to use a square so that we can get rid of this toe piece down here at the bottom. It looks like dots, these little dots down here. We're going to get rid of these. And we're just going to cover it with the square and mash slice. And then we're just going to delete the square and this piece, the toe piece. We're going to get rid of that, and then we're going to highlight. I think that's where the shoestrings come out on the side of the shoe. I'm not really sure, but on the actual shoe, this part is red. So that's what we're going with. So you want to highlight this whole gray area, and we're going to change the color of this to black. Once you change that color to black, you're done. All you have to do is layer everything back together. So when doing this, you kind of want to have a steady hand, because I welded this whole piece together because it's all one color, and I felt like it would minimize the amount of layers that I would have to do on the actual shirt. So that's what I would suggest doing. Once you pull the full shoe piece that you set to the side, once you pull that together, I would weld it. And weld is over on the right side at the bottom. So once you weld it, it's going to put it all on one mat. Now, when you start pulling your red pieces up, the other pieces to go on the shoe, you will need to move each piece and arrange it so that it's in the front. So you would want to click arrange and put send to the front so that it would be on top of the shoe instead of behind the shoe, like so. And all you do now is just put everything back in place, layer everything back in place like it was at the beginning. It's just we had to go in and change the colors so that the colors would mimic the actual shoe that we had. Not every time that you download a shoe SVG file, it will be the exact shoe that you have. So you want to find the easiest one. That way you can go in and change the colors. That's why I suggested, downloading this file, because it was really easy in changing the colors around. So like I said, you will have to have a steady hand to kind of get everything in its perfect spot. But for the most part, long as you have it where you kind of got a good idea of how it will look, that's all you really need to do. So here we see it finally coming together. And we have this last piece down here at the bottom we need to move up. So this is what the actual shoe looks like. The shoe's black, and then it has these red spots on the shoe. Versus the actual SVG file, the shoe was gray and had red in different areas. But so once you get it all layered back in place, you want to group the entire shoe. And once the shoe is grouped, you want to go over to offset at the top. And all offset does is put a background around your image, or behind your image rather. And I started to do sometimes I just type in numbers just to see how thick the background would be. And the background that I typed in was just a little too thick. So we did an offset of 0.125 for this shoe. And then you click apply. So offset automatically puts a gray background, which I actually like the gray. But I decided to put the shoe on a red shirt, so I figured white would kind of make the shirt stand out a little better. But I actually really like that dark gray behind the shoe. But like I said, I'm going to go and change it to white so that it would stand out on a red shirt. You see how you can see the offset? That's how it would layer on your actual shirt. But again, you can use whatever color shirt you desire. And if you want to use that gray as an offset color, background color, I'm with you on it, because I actually like the gray better than I like the white, and I probably should have kept the gray. But here we're just sizing it, and because it's a shoe and it's at a slant, I put it at a width of 9x7, which I didn't like because the shoe just looks extremely long. So I didn't like the way it looked. So what I'm doing here is just playing around with the sizes until I can get the shoe at a size that I like. And what I did was I put it at a 9x6, and the 9x6 doesn't look bad, but it still looks long. So I changed it to a 9x8. And I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it still looks huge. So my final dimensions was a 8-inch width and a 7-inch height. And I think this looks pretty perfect. And so I went over to text because I wanted to put something at the bottom of the shoe on the shirt, like a word. I didn't want to put Jordan because I don't want no problems with Jordan, because it's not an official Jordan shirt, and I think you get in trouble for stuff like that. So I put sneakerhead, and the font that I use for the word sneakerhead is varsity. And the font varsity, it kind of gives that, like, I don't know, sports look, like kind of like the lettering on a jersey, I guess. I liked it. So I changed that to I think I did a 11.5 width. Nope, I did a 11-inch width and a 1.5-inch height. So the dimensions of sneakerhead is 11-inch width and 1.5-inch height. So all I'm doing now is centering everything horizontally so that the shoe would be perfectly in the middle of sneakerhead. And once that is done, I group the whole thing and I go over to templates. Now, I like to go over to templates because they have a t-shirt template where you can actually change the color of the shirt and see how your image would look on different color and variety of shirts. They also have hoodies. Under templates, they have just about anything you can think of to put your image on as a template. So this is what it would look on a purple shirt, and I'm just playing around with the colors. I actually did use a red shirt and I ended up changing the color of the word sneakerhead to white. But if I had to suggest, if I make this shirt again, I would probably use a black shirt and keep that gray offset that also looked good behind the shoe, and I would change the word sneakerhead to white. I like the red too, but it's something about black. I really did like the black, and I really did like that gray offset, but that's what template is for you to play around with your image and actually see how everything would look before you actually print out your image. So once you're done playing around with your template, go ahead and click make it. Once you click make it, always put your mats on mirror. Always put mirror on your mats, because you don't want to waste vinyl and you don't want to mess up, because I hate starting all over again, and I'm sure y'all do too. But I will say, this is not a project for beginners. Unless you pay very close attention and you do everything step by step like I did, you can very much make this as a beginner. But if you just got a Cricut machine, I wouldn't suggest this being your first shirt to make. Just simply because, you're not good with the contouring and the slicing and all that good stuff. But what I'm doing right here on my mat is moving everything around so that I could just simply save as much vinyl as possible, because Cricut doesn't all the time put things in order where you save your vinyl. It will have you use a whole mat, and you don't have to use a whole mat of vinyl. And who wants to waste vinyl? Because vinyl is expensive. So that's what I'm doing, is saving my vinyl. So once that is all done and you cut it and you layer everything on your actual shirt after cutting and weeding, your shirt should come out perfect. Your shirt should be perfect. So make sure everything is on mirror. Make sure you print it out. Make sure you weed everything. And once you're done with all of that and you ironed everything on your shirt, this is how your shirt should look. The shirt came out great, but like I say, if I make it again, I would put it on a black shirt, but the red is popping. So if you enjoyed this video, subscribe and hit that like button.